Hello there, it's me, earthmanbrick, and we're back with something a little bit different this time. This is Metcalfe Models. They do a series of card construction kits. You can see how glorious that is all there. They've got a website. Let me just pop that up. There we go. So this is it all here, and they do a series of, OO or HO scale kits or N scale kits. This is all just for your model railway buildings. But I got to checking out this website because it was this is like a Yorkshire company, and they were an old printing press, and they've repurposed it into making this entirely family, all within the family. Everyone who runs and makes everything is all in the family. And this is the quality of the buildings here, and you can see how amazingly detailed these things are. And yeah, they've got a whole sort of the website's amazing, all the different kinds of houses and stuff. They've got modern, they've got Edwardian, Victorian, castles, all sorts. So yeah, you've got a real kind of and you can see here there's an example sheet, and it all just sort of pops out easily enough, and then you can just fold it up and you can score things with a knife and whatnot. Comes with full instructions as well in each individual box. And yeah, you can use your Uhu glue, you can use PVA. I'm just going to be using super glue for the sake of speed. But yeah, you can see here, even got information on the scale class. So you can see how this isn't going to fit in with your 28mm at all. I'm just doing this just for the sake of trying something new. You can see here, here's if I just flip that off, you can see here the size of the door. And do I have a miniature on hand at all? I bloody well should have. This is poor planning on my part. I definitely have one here. It's just a case of getting it from the rubble pile. So there we go. There's one of our cultists right there from the Frostgrave sets. And I'll just put him in the doorway there, so you can see this is the largest scale they've got. No chance in hell is it gonna fit. So if you're thinking of doing that, forget about it. It's just not gonna scale at all. But I thought I'd try it just to, get the experience and just give them the benefit of the doubt and see, if there's anything I can learn from this, because this is why I like to try new things. It's all about that process. They gave me this postcard here. Very cool. And this is a big set of kits that you can get. And the best thing about it as well, if I go back to the website here, is the bloody cost of them. So, what is it? We've got, benches here, picnic tables. And then zoom in so you can see it a bit better. There we go. Maybe not quite that extreme. So yeah, you can see here we've got benches and platforms, and these are really nicely detailed. Picnic tables, I've actually got that set. Look at that, beautiful little greenhouse, £6. Bargain. So yeah, if you're wanting to do a one-off little diorama or something, I just want to try something new, this is it's not going to break the bank, if you know what I mean. Oh, look at that signal box interior. That's very nice. Look at all that. Now granted, this stuff is bloody tiny, but yeah, I think the quality speaks for itself. That is solid, especially little chairs. And again, it's all just card. It's no MDF or anything, so this is lightweight, and it comes with the instructions pre-packaged. You don't need to download instructions or anything. Solid stuff. But let's see what have they got in the largest possible stuff. So if we go back to home, we go to HO scale kits. I think the castles are the biggest ones. Oh wait, that's N scale. We'll go for the larger one. Castles. And we sorted by price high to low. So the most expensive kit is this gatehouse. 17 quid. Again, it's bloody good deals. And I don't think they do any sort of like buy bulk deals or have a sales section or anything, because it's all very reasonably priced. I mean, you won't find cheaper, higher quality buildings. That I've not been able to see anything cheaper than this for the price range. Look at this. This is a hotel. This is a, wait a minute, that is N scale. And we go by price high to low. Okay, so yeah, here we go. This is a factory building here. And something else you'll notice with these, I bump that up, it even has interior walls as well, and that's the advantage of having these be made out of cardboard. Beautiful stuff. Yeah. But anyway, I'm enough gushing over the whole thing. I'm going to start looking to set this up. So I've got this one here. This is a low relief tower block. Now this is only half of the building. It's the front here. If you want a complete building, you'd have to buy this one twice. And I think it works out about 15 quid or something. But I thought, you know, ooh, for the amount of floors and all the detail and stuff that's on there, give it a try. And yeah, they do sell their own glue tip applicators and stuff for the more finer details, but I thought I'd just wing it with my usual techniques and tips. So I'm gonna get to cracking on with this, and I'll see how long it takes me and stuff, and what are the pitfalls, and how we get on with it. Let's start by opening it up. I don't think there's a easy way to open it. There isn't like a part that says open here. Maybe from the bottom? There we go. Yeah, I think that's a thing they should have maybe considered. Don't need that no more. And again, apparently all the instructions are in here, so this is all the different sheets. And look at that. That's bloody good. I've not seen that in a kit before. It's like pre-printed acetate. And that'll do for all the individual floors and things. That's bloody marvellous. But I think the main issue here is that you've got to kind of cut it in a straight line, and good luck with that. But I think that's half the fun, isn't it? So these all fold out. And you can see here it's got all the markings for where you need to cut. I mean, you could probably get away with pushing out a lot of these bits. Seem to come out easily enough. Although I think the way it's been laser etched here, oop, it just fell out. I'm not entirely sure. Again, I'm just going over it relatively quickly. But yeah, these bits of cardboard, you might be able to do something with those for another future build, mayhaps. I'm just going through the sheets briefly just now, just to see what we've got. And there, this is all nice colored card. Beautiful detail. And I think that's half the fun here, is that you don't even need to worry about a lot of the edges and stuff, because it's going to be so thin with it being all card. So here's another double sheet. Ooh. I wonder if this is just to thicken it up. But yeah, the whole thing is all pre-printed and coloured as well. Got a whole series of different possible signage here. And look at all that choice, that's great. Yeah, it doesn't look like anything's wasted here on any of the sheets either. So here's the instructions. These are bang in the middle. Bit of an odd place to put them, usually on top. So yeah, it's definitely not something that's easy as cake. But it's got instructions here. So there's instructions to the instructions. That's pretty cool, not gonna lie. So yeah, it gives you the recommendations, getting started, extracting components from the base sheets, and yeah, I think the only thing you need to worry about is painting the edges of the card. And then they're just saying you just use watercolors. That's an example there, just to hit up the seams. I just use pens. Right, so paint all the red brick, brown, yada yada. And yeah, there's an example of everything just laid out there. Cut out all the clear glazing components, windows, and place on a separate sheet of dark cards so they don't get lost. I mean, these guys are speaking from experience, so I'm going to trust them on it. But yeah, it's got all the examples, and all the various bits are all labeled, so put this down, play around with the focus here so you can read it as well. So you can see there it's got C1 on that window, C1 for the frame of the window there. So it all kind of lines up, which is pretty cool. And then it just goes through. Oh wait, no, this is the full instructions, so these are the best labeled instructions I've ever seen. Like ever. On any of the kits I've ever looked at, these are the best labeled. Look at the illustrations here. This is great. You've even got like little shading, arrows, everything. I'm impressed. I am very impressed with this. Wow. But yeah, this looks like it's a lot of fun to make. And it looks like you build up the individual floors. That's what the clear card is for, more or less. So you start off with the central column, which is this part here. And then you slot in those parts to make up the floors. And then everything else is built up around that. So you've got like the interior versus exterior walls. Yeah, I don't think this is going to be quite as cut and dry as I thought it was. Man, look at that result. That is impressive. Bit worried about how these are going to turn out. These bits of railing, they look like they might be a bit... I don't know, a little bit fiddly and prone to bustling off. So you've got extra sheets here. This is for your blinds, for your windows. If you want to add on those extra details, which is cool. I think I've made curtains and stuff in the past just using this to make faux curtains. Just paint it up like a few different colors. And I did that for Wild West builds. And it's a really good technique, a really good method. Of course, if you turn it on its side, like this, and then paint it a metallic color, you can make it look like corrugated metal sheeting. So you can have it as curtains or corrugated metal. brilliant. Great way to recycle as well, because you get that sort of stuff from your coffee cups. But yeah, so these are the examples of curtains here that you can potentially have. Wow, really went all out. Internal walls, carefully score between the arrows. Okay, so this is the faux interior for a plant painting. I suppose once you've got enough depth and you've got everything else all built up, this stuff here you're not going to be able to see it quite as well. That's going to be around the base layer there, around this whole, what is it, this column here. It's going to wrap around there, and that's why it's saying carefully score between the arrows. Nothing on that sheet. But yeah, this might take me a while, a lot longer than I originally anticipated, because I don't know quite how much cutting is going to be involved. But what I'll do is I'll set up a separate container for all the push-outs, and we'll look at those as well. But yeah, I'm gonna pause it here. I'll do a time lapse, and then we'll come back and we'll do a review afterwards. So bye for now, see you again soon. There, and we're back. Now here it is all assembled, and it took me just over 3 hours to do. And what's my kind of verdict and stuff? Well, this is all the push-outs we've got, so lots of nice rectangular shapes and stuff, all perfectly well made card. Very cool. And of course you've still got the empty kind of sprue frame, or card frames I would say. I don't know. Yeah, that's probably quite good for some other modern builds and things. I might try and, other than doing buildings and terrain, which I've kind of done a ridiculous amount of, I might focus on doing more extra little complementary bits. You know, scale things down a bit, because I think when you tend to go big all the time, you run out of room really quickly. But yeah, back to this, the Metcalfe scale tower block. How would I rate this? Well, don't spend 3 hours doing it. Spend a few days, break it up into a few separate things, because like cutting out the windows alone takes bloody ages, and then you've got to push out all the pieces, and then you've really got to follow the instructions to the letter, because there's bits like let me find a particular portion I struggled with. Not here, this part here. So this part here, it says, now add the C2 and C3 windows to the back of the flat front walls, right? And they've all got to be a certain way up and a certain way down, because there's a certain height at the top, a certain height at the bottom. It all gets a bit tedious. Why they didn't just, you see how you've got the, just adjust the focus so you can actually read it a bit better. You can see here how you've got the actual lettering, and you've got a large border at the top, smaller border at the bottom. What they should have just done was cut around the white bit, and then what you know, so you don't end up with that whole grey section, and then they could have put the C3 in the middle. Because one of the issues I faced was that these things have to be very exact in there, otherwise they hit against these layers of card. Everything has to slot in perfectly, and there's no real margin for error, which is really annoying. Wish I'd known that beforehand, because again with this, that you can see here it says that's the top and that's the bottom. So even this, although it looks identical, the same way up as it does down, there is actually a small difference, which I didn't notice either. I don't even know, it's like a 50-50 chance of getting it right or wrong. So yeah, whenever you're doing this, you have to follow it to the absolute letter. And yeah, I'm not really one of those kinds of people. I like to just kind of, throw it all together and hope that they designed it well enough that everything, that parts like that are just kind of universal, and that you can have it the right way up or the right way down regardless. But no, they've gone about it in a very particular kind of way, which just makes it unnecessarily harder to follow. And as a result, I've ended up with rather sizable margins of error. You can see a big gap there. You can see that there, right there. Yeah, these parts are a bit too flimsy. Again, this is more so for your model train crafters, and it's not really built for rigidity. If these were made of like plastic or something, but then it would be more expensive, no doubt. But yeah, I think the overall aesthetic generally works, and what I might do with this building later is that I might gunk it up, make it into a post-apocalyptic kind of back piece for, I don't know, generic Transformers terrain. How does it look from the back? Not great at all. So if you are buying this and you want it for general terrain, for your skirmish games and stuff, you probably want to get both front and... You probably want to get this build twice so you can stick it back to back. Again, it is what it is. It's not build. Did I enjoy making this up? I think at first I was quite excited, but seeing how particular certain bits are, like this door frame here, it tells you in the instructions, I didn't realize this because I was so busy throwing in the windows and stuff, and I saw everything was more or less lining up perfect, and I was like really happy with it. It's glued on the doors, and then it says, oh, you've actually got to raise the door up by a few bits, and there's no frame on the other side to say, okay, you need to sort of, here's the way to trace it. You've just got to follow the instructions to the letter to know, just know that this has got to be up slightly so that this plinth is actually parallel with this part here. As a result, because it isn't, it's this whole bit's meant to slot into it. Again, it's not overly forgiving, and you can see there's there's a few little errors there. I mean, from any other angle that you're looking at it, it looks fine, but yeah, I found the tolerances and whatnot were just, they're not ideal. It's you can see what a mess there is at the top here. It just it's sort of level there, and then it's just kind of going up and about, and yeah, it is what it is. I'm going to try, I've got another build from Metcalfe, and it's this one here, the coaching in. I think I'll play around with this one, and if I have similar issues with this one as well, I think I'm just going to kind of write them off as a company, because it's it's way too finicky. Too much of an emphasis on you have to do it this exact particular way, because the way we've designed it is not quite as accessible as it perhaps should be. Because these kits aren't aimed at kids, they're aimed at more kind of the people with the patience to really, follow the instructions to the letter. But yeah, I think once this is all grunged up and things, it'll look a lot nicer. how does it hold up? Well, you can see there's more than a few issues. I mean, as general kind of terrain, it looks alright. It's not going to scale with anything else you've got. Yeah, I just find it kind of frustrating to build. It wasn't something that I had a lot of fun making. Not with, not unlike some of the MDF kits. I think a lot of MDF kits, it's so easy. It's intuitive. This isn't. You think it is, but then you realize by following the instructions that I've done this wrong here, 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 and here. And that's why you end up with lots of mistakes. There was no telling where this whole brick part was meant to go, but I had to stick it there because, as you can see, nothing really fell into alignment. And I think that even if I did follow the instructions to the letter, I would still be facing a lot of these issues. It's just not built for absolute precision or exactness, which is fine because for me, I can always grunge it up and turn it post-apocalyptic. But that's my kind of verdict on it. It's I don't know. Maybe watch a few different channels of other people of how they've experienced these kits. But mine, I don't know. I've not had a great experience with this one. Maybe this one's just a bit on the complicated side. That's kind of why I got it, because it's like I like modern buildings and I wanted to see what it was about. But this has not sold me. I've not attached any of the blinds or anything for the curtains. The curtains look a bit crap, to be honest. I mean, it's just green with a line through it. Anyway, so that's how it's meant to look. And our result was not quite the same. Yeah, I'm not sure why there's a random line there. Yeah, it says you can put a sign on the top, on the front of the building there. I didn't bother. I thought, it looks like flats. Doesn't need to have a name. It's kind of good enough. You do get a whole list of different names and stuff that you can stick on the front here. Parkside Flats is probably a decent one. Station Hotel? I'd be more tempted if you were going to call it a hotel or something that you would have, I don't know, a sign pointing out the way. So you'd drill and pin some wire coming out, and then you would have, I don't know, a Holiday Inn sign. Or some other chain brand like, what is it, like Hilton or something. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I really don't know how I feel about this kit. Which is probably not a good thing. That's my video, and that's all I've got for you today. So, thanks again for watching, and bye.